You always support the concept of police, okay? Get that straight first. And the practice of police work. Stop saying, using words. Words are very important. You don't accuse police of doing anything incorrect. But you do say that there are people who are pretending to be police, and you give them a name, suspected race soldiers. If it's anything that's racial, and most things are. So you say suspected race soldiers. And these are people who are pretending to be law enforcement officers, police officers, but they're really not. They're white supremacists, pretending to be. So you don't get those two mixed up. You separate those two with a heavy line between the two. They're nowhere near each other. A police officer is a person that's always going to do the correct thing. Otherwise, that is not a police officer. That is not a police officer. That's an imposter. A police officer always does the correct thing. But you have a huge number of race soldiers who are pretending to be police officers. These are white men or white women who are pretending to be police officers. And so, you're in a war. You're in a war that's been fostered by all of the people on the planet who believe in white supremacy. And you have become victims of those.
I try to make sure I remind folks the searches. I definitely encourage folks to use the phrase and to practice. Sir, ma'am, I know you're just doing your job, but I do not consent to searches of my vehicle, my person, my possessions without a warrant. I definitely encourage that people practice use of that phrase.
Let me remind you of that. Listen to me. Even though I can endorse that, but let me share something with you. I have worked with some of these crazy people. And the reason why I say crazy, you have to understand that the part that you said about the thing about a warrant, you see, anytime you start talking to these crazy people, suggesting that you know more than they know, then that becomes a trigger for them. You can say in general what you're saying, but you have to be very careful about your words. Something like, you can say, I'd rather you not search my vehicle, or I would appreciate it if you didn't. I'm in a hurry to get from point A to point B. You follow me? And I'd rather that you not do that. However, if you think it's necessary, I will oblige you. But as you just said, I'm uncomfortable with you doing it. Because let me share with you, the words are important. Because when you start telling people with a badge and a gun that they do not have your permission to do something, keep in mind, we're not talking about policemen that are smart enough to understand a decent conversation. As a matter of fact, there have been a number of individuals kicked out of the academy because they were too smart. So they don't want them there. You follow me? They want people to follow orders. They are police in the state. And this thing about, unless you have a warrant, I'm only saying this to you out of just understanding how sick these people are and how certain words serve as triggers. I would steer clear of the word warrant. I would say something to the effect of, I'd be more comfortable if you brought another officer, on the scene, particularly on a gender, like if you're female. I'd be more comfortable if you brought another female officer on the scene. That's that simple, and I wouldn't change the tone of my voice at all. And I respect everything you're saying, but I'm also trying to say to you very clearly, remember, just because the person has a gun and a badge doesn't mean that he or she is capable of being rational. And everything you say, it sounds rational. But when you're dealing with irrational people, you get irrational behavior.
Right. I will go back to what I said. My suggestion for listeners is as follows. To say, I do not consent to searches of my person, my property, my vehicle without a warrant. I would encourage saying it that way. You can add the ma'am, officer, lieutenant, whoever it happens to be, sheriff, to say it specifically that way, because you didn't say permission. You're not giving them permission. You're saying that you do not consent. Now, they can, exactly as Dr. Rasayan said, you do have a lot of folks who are race soldiers who have a badge and a gun. They may absolutely, what? Nigga, who do you think? no problem. You don't contest, you don't fight, you don't try and stop them. Right on, but you just want to make it clear that you're not consenting, because that can have huge ramifications down the road. And I've said again, if you're not comfortable doing it, totally, that's fine. That is cool in the gang. And I think when we brought this up before when Cam was on the program, I said this is connected to I want to go home, because exactly as Dr. Rasayan laid out, you do have a lot of racists who are posing as police officers. And because of that, once you authorize them to rifle through your things, your pockets, your vehicle, all of a sudden now things can appear that were not there before. And I think enough of us know this has been a major problem. All of this is connected to I want to go home, I don't want to be beaten, I don't want to be arrested, I don't want to be jailed. Just, I do not consent. And again, if you're not comfortable saying it, that's fine, but that's definitely one I encourage. And I encourage because I have used that multiple times. It has worked flawlessly every time when I've been by myself, whether I've been in a dark environment, wherever, flawless every time. And I encourage that one just because I think that definitely can help some folks not end up with more problems, things that can be avoided, because you can come to your own conclusions if you're comfortable saying it.
When you were saying how you were making money of drug dealers, you also said there are other ways to make money. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes, there are other ways, like burglaries.
Did you actually engage in burglaries?
Yes.
Will you tell us some of the circumstances, please?
Job comes over the radio.
A woman's house down the block was burglarized.
We get to the place and there's this high school age girl standing outside her front door. And we start going through the whole place. Find out there's no burglars in the building.
I had gotten a new partner at the time. And I had to prove to him that I was good. In order to prove to him that I was good, I had to give him some reason to think that to know that I was good.
Mike grabs the girl and goes, "Do you know if your parents kept any money or valuables in it?"
So she called her mother. Her mother told her where the money was hidden.